my dreaming soap. Welcome to my channel. Now today we're going to do a nice swirly soap. I've seen this called various different things like dancing waves and that sort of thing. I'm not really sure who did it first. It's not an original design that's made by me. That's only the thing that I want to say. It actually reminds me of the tall and skinny shimmy that you do, but that's done by pouring it into a tall and skinny soap mould, whereas this is done by pouring across a soap mould and just pouring 1 bar thick. So, colours I'm going to be using today are electric blue from You Make It Up and some sunshine yellow from Micah Mama, and then emerald lagoon. I get that from You Make It Up too, and Purple Heart from You Make It Up. You Make It Up is now pure rock colours. You Make It Up doesn't exist anymore. Now, fragrance oil that I'm using is Green Irish Tweed. I get mine from Supplies for Candles. Now, this is a dupe of the Creed fragrance, Green Irish Tweed. And I must admit, it took me a long time to think about my colours because I thought about greens and all that sort of stuff. And anytime I tried a sort of green combo, I just thought, for me it didn't make a pleasing looking soap. So I am going to have some green in mine, but I am bringing in some other colours as well. Now, this fragrance is supposed to be sort of a masculine fragrance, but I find it quite pleasing, so it could be a bit of a mixture. As you can see with my colours, I know I've got purple in there, but I'm trying not to make it too feminine looking with the soap. Right, so those are my colours. Let's get our soap mixed up. So I've got my oils for my whole batch. Now you only need a small amount of oils here because what we're going to do with this pour is, here's my mould that I'm going to make, and rather than pouring the full mould and then cutting like normal slices of soap, we're just only going to be pouring across the bottom and doing it 1 bar thick. So it's kind of less than half a batch of soap. So my lye solution has my sodium lactate in as normal, and let's just pour those together. I'm soaping at a nice cool temperature, so just above 80 degrees Fahrenheit is what I use when I want to soap cool. And that's because I need this to stay lovely and fluid to get a great effect. I'm just going to blend it quite gently because I want to just take it to an emulsion and not really much further because I've still got to mix up my colours. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I may not even be, in fact I'm not emulsified yet because I can see some slight streaks on the top there. And remember, if you're going to mix to that sort of stage, like I am here, you've got to be careful because you've got to make sure that you keep stirring this soap. If, for example, if you poured with it in this state, it would just split apart and your soap would fail. So, there's my mixed, let's call it my mixed lye and oils. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to divide it into my 4 colours. So here are the 4 colours, and as you can see I've just dispersed them already in some of the oils taken from my batch. This is my electric blue, mixed 50-50 electric blue and titanium dioxide. This is just my Purple Heart, and this is just my sunshine yellow. With my emerald lagoon, I've done a sort of 80-20 mix, 80 of the green and 20% of a little bit of touch of that yellowing, because I didn't want it such a dark solid green. I wanted it to be a more sort of olivey, limey type green. So I'm just going to take this soap here. I am going to just go away and not do it on screen and just measure out and divide this up evenly. But remember, the key thing we said is I don't think I'm emulsified yet, so I'm going to stir, stir, stir before I split this out. So as you can see, I've divided them all out. So let's start mixing them in. Now I have got a little bit of TD saved off to the side because I don't want these colours to be too dark. I do want them to be reasonably soft. So I am going to lighten them where necessary with a little bit of titanium dioxide. Okay, my blue is already pre-mixed with some TD because it's a standard colour I use in quite a lot of my soaps, this blue. So let's have a look at what I want to do with the yellows. The yellow I'm not going to light too much because a yellow will actually, it's one of those backwards colours that actually gets lighter when you put it through gel. So I'm going to not lighten that too much. And I don't mind, I'm going to put a tiny bit in this green. And I've weighed my TD in here so I can see exactly how much I'm using. Yes, I like that. That's just softened it a little bit and taken the edge off. I think I might do a tiniest bit in the purple as well. Yes, I like those. I think they look nice. So I'm now going to weigh this again and I can see how much TD I've used. And obviously as you do this and you keep stirring and mixing and blending colours, this is giving your soap that chance to emulsify and pull itself together. And obviously by doing this quite early on, it's going to stop this soap batter getting too thick. Okay, so I'm going to wait with these until I've got the barest of trace and then we'll start pouring. I think I'm nearly there with these, so I'm now going to add in this fragrance oil. This fragrance oil is pretty well behaved, so I'm not too worried about it. And these are really quite small amounts of soap. Make sure we get it stirred in nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to use this little basic soap mould, nothing fancy. I know I showed you my clear one earlier, but that was just to show you how I was just going to pour one bar, but that mould would have been perfectly fine. I'm just propping it up a little bit and then I'm just going to start my pour. Okay, so I'm going to start from just the corners.
Would you follow me, or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Before you turn away, I just want you to know that I didn't throw your stuff away. Before you make up your mind that I'm nowhere to find, I'm standing right here. I know that I told you we're over. I swear that I'm sober. Just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're with her, I can see that you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light, or would
So you can see I sort of did mine 2 different colours each side. Now, the reason I did that is because I had 4 colours overall, and I find it's good to do about 6 pours each side, because that gives you a nice amount of squiggling between each of the layers, as it were. So you get this nice curvy shape without it going too far. And because I had 4 colours, then that would have made it a little bit awkward to do. But obviously you could have blended them all into both sides. The other thing I find often with this technique is it can be the case where the lines between the colours aren't lovely and smooth and distinct. They get quite jaggedy and mottled and blurred and horrible. If you find that you try this technique and that's happening to you, I found the times it happens to me is when I don't pour fast enough. Hopefully, I remember when I upload this, I will actually do at least some of the pouring at real speed to show you how fast I'm actually pouring it. And the reason for that is the more resistance that's being created, the more the soap has to fight, and then you're putting pressure on the barriers, you know, the boundaries of those 2 colours, and they start to push into each other a bit more. Also, when I poured, I deliberately, although I poured down the corner, I didn't actually pour down the side of the mould. Again, when I've done that, the time that I did it and I poured down the side of the mould, I got those bitty, funny edges because it slows down the movement of the soap too much. So I found by pouring into the corner, but almost tipping it into the point I want to pour, yes, some does go down the side, but that gives you that much smoother shape. Okay, so hopefully if you've tried this technique before and maybe got a bit frustrated, hopefully those little tips will help you out. Right, I'm going to pop this in the oven to C-pop overnight, and then we'll come back. Cutting it tomorrow, well, it's going to look like that, but just chopped into bars. So I C-popped my soap as normal and then just cut it the next day. I always find with this type of soap where it's a horizontal cut and just 1 bar thick, the cut's a bit of an anticlimax because you know exactly what it's going to look like already. I did get a little tiny bit of soda ash on this. That's just because it was poured at a very thin trace, and because it was a thin soap, not a full loaf, then I couldn't keep it nice and tightly covered and block out any air. So here's a picture of the final soap. You might be able to see that light covering of soda ash on the yellow areas. But for me, I just give that a little spray with 70% rubbing alcohol and it gets rid of it for me. I hope you like this soap and you've enjoyed the video. If you have, it would be great if you gave me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see what I'm making in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? Thanks for watching everyone, I really appreciate it, and happy soaping!